Hello and welcome back. Yesterday in the mail I received a garbage bag, and it was my electronic DC load. And as you can see, it comes in what can I say? It's tailored to the box. I think they like that in China. It's from Kunkin. They even have a website, kunkin.com. I have not checked that out yet, but I bought it from AliExpress, and it was actually shipped from Czech Republic. So it, instead of waiting 1.5 months, it was here within 9 days. So I was actually surprised that somebody rang my door yesterday, because I didn't expect a package. So yeah, really happy with that it was that quick. Yeah. You see this usually now, the box looks terrible, so you are a bit scared. Oh, I hope it's working. So let's see what it is. This is from Kunkin, and it actually is 400 watts, 40 amps up to 150 volts. So it is quite some specs, because I remember when I built one myself in one of my other videos, that was this cheap little kit, and I think that was 10 amps and 70 watts. So this one is really a lot better. So yeah, as you see, the box is so I hope it's still working. So let's have a better look what's inside. You can open it. Well, it is more or less good packed. So I like that, because the garbage bag was not that much of a protection, of course. Comes with a EU cable for Europe. It has some sort of calibration thing. It comes with a serial cable. So in China they still use serial, I think, instead of USB. Perfect. Even comes with, I would say that is 4mm cable. And what is this? They have two DC plugs and a BNC. I wonder what the BNC is for. But let's take out the load itself. Nothing is left in the box. Oh, it's quite big, and it's heavy, so usually it feels like it's good quality. And yes, it actually looks nice. It has huge terminals. Look at this. And here is the BNC, and it says V-Sense. Okay, so you can put sense wires also, especially when you are testing on high loads. If you want it specifically on a certain point to have a certain voltage, it's really useful to use the sense wires, and then it will just compensate the loss. At least that's what the design would say. And it's really quite heavy. It is. And here in the back you have a serial, and there is another type of connector. You can take that out, and it is the 485B485. So it's apparently some sort of communication, and it has a fuzz. Okay, well, we need to read what it does, but it looks actually quite good. I am a bit disappointed though that the power button is in the back, and I don't understand why they did that, because if you put it somewhere in your stack, how are you gonna touch the power button? So I hope there is also somewhere a soft on and off. So let's see. So let's have a closer look what we have. Yeah, we have the nice cable. It really looks like it can transport some current. We have the two connectors, and we have for the sense wire this BNC Well, the quality of the BNC really looks like it's already been damaged before we're using it, but yeah, well, I think you can use any BNC wire. You can unscrew it and then you connect it. Okay. If you have a quick look, it looks nice. Here we have some sort of, I think it is like a calibration sheet. Probably, here it's in English, it's the date. Humidity, I think, 25 degrees. This is the humidity, this is the type, the date. This could be a serial number, and here they did some tests and how much it was off. So 0.1, so that seems precise. They did do 400 watts, so we have the correct model, and I think they did it with an echelon and a fluke. Yeah, it's a lot of guessing. Here again it's the type number. This looks like a sort of a serial number, and apparently this nice guy did that for us. So we can check if the serial number matches. Let's take this off. I don't know what it says. Probably read first the manual. And it really is heavy, and it really looks like it is proper made. There is a little dent here, but I don't mind if it works. And I don't see a serial number on the box, so this all looks official, but if there is no serial number here, how did the guy know what was the serial number? So, and it seems with the serial, look at this, you can control it by the computer. So I like to play with that. I hope there's a download link, or at least we will have a look on the website. And it can do different modes: constant current, constant voltage, constant resistance. Okay. So then it will adjust the voltage and the amps. Okay. And it can do a constant watt. Okay, cool. And with that connector in the back, you can connect multiple devices together. Okay, you can send codes also if you're a programmer yourself. So they are very open with what it does. Here you have a piece of code. Here you have what you can change. Here are the specs. There are two models. You have the KP182 and the KP184. Well, the difference was in pricing was not that much, so I went for the 40 watts because it can do 40 amps. Because my homemade electronic load already went to 10 amps, so then it was a bit silly to take a 20 amps here, because then I will just use this one. And on top of that, the 184 also had a serial connection, and I wanted to play with the software. So, but I didn't give a CD, so we probably need to download. Well, as you could see, I quickly went through the manual and I didn't find a link that fast, so we probably just need to go here. So let's connect it. Okay, well, via my own power cable, but I did provide one. Switch it on. The light is already on, and I see nothing here to switch it on, so we really need to switch it on here. And that is a pity. Oh, I don't know if you could see, but when I switched it on, you could see the type number and I think the version and something else, but it was very quick. 2001 AD001. The AD is probably the address, and the second one 2001, I don't know, maybe Probably not when it's produced, because that would be almost 20 years ago. And we have a mode button, constant current, constant voltage, constant power, constant resistors. Okay, you just switch through that. Set. We are in constant current, so of course we go to the current. And it has a beep. Hopefully it can be switched off. And if we are in, that is the load on and off, okay. If we are in constant voltage, yeah, we need to apply voltage first. If we are in constant watts, apparently we also need to put at least voltage, okay. Constant resistance. That I don't know. Do I need to, what is this, shift? Battery. How many ampere uur? Okay, cool. Shift watch. Now let's play a bit with the constant current. I have here my probes, my plugs. Okay. Yeah, it looks like you can put in your wire, but it is not really tight. And then you could say, yeah, well, you have silly plugs, but if I put it here in my reference, it is really stuck. So, but okay, let's try better cables. I have here, that is maybe better cables. Yeah, it is a little bit better, but it is, the holes are too big. Okay, this one is better, but this one really is not. Yeah, you really need to have cables with a very big pin. So not all cables will fit, but you probably, because if it's high current, you will probably want to use the clips, because that will work a lot better. Okay, I have a little setup. This is the power supply. It's 2.8 volts. We have here the Keithley that has a more precise measure, 2.867, and this one 2.86 something. So it's only 5 millivolts off. That's not too bad. Let's put, the load is still off. Let's go to 10 volts or something. 10.3 then. Prima. Okay, and then we can set the load. So let's put it to 1 amp. And now you can see it's blinking here, and then we can go up. And we see if we can switch off the noise. And I already noticed if you turn very quick, it doesn't know what way you are turning. And then it even can go up, as you see. Up to the right is up. Lefty loosey, it will go down on the left, but if I do very quick to the left, it even goes up. Okay, yeah, let's go to 1 amp first. Oh, I see the last digit somehow. And you can also go up like this, up and down like this. And if you want to do big steps, you just go here and you put 10 amps. But first 1 amp. Okay, put the load on. Yes, it is indeed, because it's 10 watts. And you see here, it is indeed 1 amp. Can we now turn it while it's on? Yes, we can. And it is not noisy at all. And we are already putting 6 amps, and the power supply is also not really impressed about it, because it can also do 40. But it is not noisy, you don't hear anything. So you really need to be careful, because you don't really have the feeling that you're using a lot of amps. And we are, because we are doing 6 amps. and you need to feel if the cables are warm or not, because nothing here is noisy. So if you just turn it up to 20 amps, the power supply is not noisy, this one is not noisy. You almost forget that you're doing things with 20 amps here, and poof. So I will switch it back because my cables will burn at some point. So that seems to work very nice. I think this thing can easily get the amps. And oh yeah, the ventilator is blowing, but it is so soft. I think the noise we hear is from the power supply actually. So I like to go quickly. My cables are still good. I like to go quickly to 40. Yeah, now it starts to make noise. 300 watts. Okay, we got that. I don't want to burn my cables or my power supply. But okay. Yeah, now my cables are warm. They are not meant for this. They are usually, I think they are rated for 6 amps. So that was very easy, but now the noise immediately goes down. So it's not making unnecessary noise. I like that. Well, let's find some software for it. I tried to make a little setup so we can test how much noise it's producing when we try to put the load. And what I did see with my homemade electronic load, that it was really starting to be noisy when you start to, especially when the load became above 5 amps, it really started to be very noisy. But what I first like to do is get a zero measurement. So what we do now, there is no load, and there is no load, and if you can see on the scope, it is about and I put on AC coupling because I only want to see the noise, and it is about yeah, 60 millivolts when it's totally disconnected. Now I connect the electronic load, but the load is still off. Now we see a little peak, and yeah, what it says here, it's about 100 millivolts. So that's not that much. So now we're gonna put load on it. Now the load is on, and it is still the same. It's still 100 millivolts, the peaks here. So it could come from my switch power supply that I'm using. So we're gonna use an analog one later. And now I'm gonna crank up the amps, 2 amps, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to 20. And I will go a lot. Okay, it starts to make noise, 30 amps. And it doesn't go much higher, only in the middle a little bit. So I wonder if the big peaks are actually from the switch power supply. Okay, back to off. So in the end, for 30 amps, and it is a load, it is kind of clean. And this is on the analog power supply. You still have these weird peaks here, and it still seems to come from the electronic load, because if I take one off, it's a little bit less. If I take my other connection out, then it's completely gone. So even though the load is not switched on, it produces some kind of distortion, but it has nothing to do with the load, because if I switch on the load, I do that right now, and this one can only do a few amps. It doesn't seem to be connected to the load that we are putting. Yeah, it's somehow maybe the processor of the thing or something. It's 1 megahertz distortion, and it is here, as you can see, if I put here 1 amp, it still is the same. So the real distortion that this one is creating is actually here, and we can't see it because. So if we can somehow get this out, then you could see that it's actually very, very clean. But we, yeah, what I also like is we put it to 30-40 amps, and it never comes above this 100 millivolts. So yeah, it's clean. Well, I like to open it, but of course there is a warranty sticker here. But still, I want you to see it. So I'm trying a trick with the rework station. I need to be careful not to melt my plastic. Hopefully the glue is now a little bit soft. My plastic is not. Okay. No, that almost did work. So yeah. Well, I'm not going to send it back to China anyway, because that will cost me more than probably buying a new one. But okay, seemed to have worked. Let's open. Okay, this looks just so much better than I expected. Look at this. They have this low speed fan, really a big one. They put it in the front instead of in the back, so that is also less noisy. A lot of cooling. Nice little transformer. Yeah, okay. Maybe the on-off switch I'm going to break to the front here with the little switch, and because you just switch on the primary side of this transformer, so it doesn't do too much power. So I will probably do that, and because I'm not gonna switch it on and off in the back. But look at this. This is a quality product. Here they have some shunts to measure the amps. They have some huge FETs. Look at this. I hope we can see the types. It is the P9213, and they have 4 of them. 3 of them. Here is one, here is one, here is one. And the traces are also very, very big. And maybe, let's see. But look at this, this is really nice. In the bottom there is, oh, there are more. In the bottom are also 3. So they actually have 6 of these FETs. This is some serious stuff. Big, big, big wires. These guys are not fooling around. Look at this. I'm impressed. And it is also not rebranded, because they really have their own here, E-load main version 04 from late 2019. It has their own branding on the boards, so it's probably the main manufacturer. They have really, and I need to find out how much power these can do. The P921J, and then they have six of those, so that is serious stuff. And but I don't see on the terminals that they have put some capacitor to get down the noise, so maybe we can try that, because we saw this 1 megahertz distortion of 100 millivolts, which had nothing to do with the load itself, so maybe that is easy to take out. And but again, I'm impressed how this looks. This is some serious serious stuff, even in the front. Let me see if I can take this out. Yeah, look, they use some proper wiring. They even put, if you don't use sense wires, they even put wires here, or that's for the voltage meter, and they have also sense wires here. So, oh no, it's both sense wires. Only if you use the extra sense wires, probably the higher value will be true. So we do have some space here to put here in the corner to put the on-off switch, and I will probably do that because I really don't like it's located in the back. And well, let's find out the okay, the MOSFETs. I'm just such a I was looking at the date code, and the P921J is just a date code. I found the actually coding, and that's the IRF P250M, and that is a MOSFET from Infineon. And it says here it can do maximum 30 amps, and continuous it can do 21, and even a peak to 120, and they do like 214 watts. And we have 6 of those, so I'm really not worried that that it's gonna blow. It seems properly built. Well, I saw some post about other people who had a Revision 1 board. This is the Revision 4, and they replaced or removed one of these capacitors because of there was the constant current was not that precise. You have here the R10, and below there seems to be a capacitor of 100 N, and mine should be 10 nanos already. But I didn't see that voltage drop yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. What I do like, and somebody mentioned that also, is there is no real earth connection between the earth connection of the cover, because here is the screw, it's in plastic, here is the screw, it's in plastic, here is in plastic, here is in plastic. The only where it's a metal, it's here, and it would be enough. That is no problem. But there is paint here, so what you need to do is just scratch a bit of the paint off, and then you're already fine. You can do that with a drill, let's say 10 mils, just to not to make the hole bigger, but just only get the paint off, and then that should be okay. So the software I try to look for on the website, but it's not there. You need to put a support ticket, and then we'll probably send it to you. So I need to see how that exactly works out. But I bought it on Ali, so I just tried the Ali seller to provide me that software, or I just look a bit more on the internet, and of course I also do the support ticket. Let's see what comes first. So yeah, I think this is really good value for money. I think the signal is actually very clean, especially when I compare this to my home built electronic load that I also bought on Ali. And yeah, it looks very nice. Yeah, the power switch on the back I really don't understand. They have a space here. Maybe it got in the way of these huge plugs that also are 6.2 millimeters instead of 6. So maybe I replace these, and that also gives me a little bit more space for the on-off switch that I really want to have in the front. That's it. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.